Hi guys, welcome back to me, Pete Vodden, and the podcast today, the PAC Talk podcast. I'm here with my old and dear friend Leka Fineman. Welcome back, Leka.
Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to be here.
As you guys know, Leka's been on the podcast before. Leka is a multiple CrossFit Games champion. Obviously, one of the fittest women I've ever known, and it's been you just told me it's been 4 years since our last podcast.
Yes, almost exactly
it's funny
to the day.
We did that podcast, and you were saying like you think you were kind of done with CrossFit.
Yeah, I was totally done.
And the year after that, you went and won it again.
So yeah, I had gone. That was 2021. I had been to the games 3 times at that point, and then the following year, I ended up going back 2022, kind of by the skin of my teeth. Like I wasn't even going to do the open, and then I ended up doing the open, and like one of my scores like didn't make it. Like I barely qualified.
Right.
But I got a great coach. I was working with Sage Bergner at that time. And I ended up in 5th that year, and I was fine. Like I was like, I'm good. And Sage was like, I think you could win. And so I was like, oh, okay.
And then the ego kicks in. And
yeah. So, and I realize like now looking back, right, kind of this high level view of the whole thing. When you're in that mode, it's like you're constantly constantly trying to prove something, right? Like in the gym all the time, trying to get better, trying to learn skills, going to the gym to get better at CrossFit. And I always was like, okay, what if I just really went all in? So I did that. And then in 2023, I ended up taking 1st place in my division, which was obviously a huge, personal goal, and it was amazing. But after I had been really burnt out already, right? I was done before that. So I really took a step back, but it's very hard to, go from like 100 to 0.
For sure. Yeah.
And when it's like, you're so focused, that's my whole life. I was like, on this program, I was following a program. I knew every day what I was doing. I was like training. And you have this like wonderful, just like thing that you're focused on, and you're in amazing shape. And then it's like, then what? Like, what do you do?
Well, and that's the athlete's curse, right? There's always that point in an athlete's career when it's kind of over. And then, and it's different for you because you came into CrossFit like a little bit later in life. It wasn't like that was your whole life had been building up to that moment. But, a lot of athletes, especially, that's all they've ever known since they've been a kid. And they get to like 32 years old, then it's all over. And that's a really hard thing to deal with. Like, part of it is like the camaraderie you've had, the people you've had around you, the team spirit. Part of it is like that single focus, that single direction, that sense of purpose. You know exactly what you're in it for, and then also just the, that moment in the spotlight and the the energy you get from that, and those immense highs when it all comes to an end. It's really hard to deal with the quiet.
Right.
That's all gone away. And yours is a lesser extent maybe, but it's the same emotion.
It is, and it's like your identity, identifying as an athlete, which took me a long time to even like accept and own. And the community, that all my friends I was training with, that you're in the gym all the time. And even for, I've talked to a lot of people about this, even if they're not high level competitive CrossFit athletes, like CrossFit was such a big thing for so many of us for so long. Yeah. And that's what we were doing. And now it's like, it's different. It's really changed. And we've gotten older, we've evolved. And so I think it's like, there's a correlation even between, the people who are competing at a high level, even to just like the everyday CrossFitter. It's like, what happens after CrossFit? Like, what are we doing now? And for me, it's like, I think there's been this shift from always trying to prove myself to just trying to improve. Like it's my goal is so different now. It's like longevity. I am in the gym training to be strong and durable and have longevity and do the things I want to do outside of the gym, which is just like, for me, that's a big shift. I started surfing immediately after CrossFit, which is something I've always loved. And now I'm like, oh, I can do this because I don't have to worry about, not being able to go to the gym to do CrossFit. I can just spend my time doing this other sport. And I think, I talk to people now at Pharos who are, my age, or roughly, we're all, in that midlife state. And we're just trying to like be mobile and stay strong for life. So it's a different goal, I think.
Yeah. Do you think it's just, I mean, a lot's happened with CrossFit, obviously. Do you think a lot of it is just, there's only a set amount of time you can stay in that game just because of the pressure it puts on the body, the intensity it puts on the body? Or do you think it's kind of the end of a trend? It's really hard to put your finger on. I've thought about it a lot because, I loved CrossFit for a long time, and I still, really enjoy it. Like, I don't do it like I used to do it, but when I do it, I enjoy it. But everybody who we've known who are in it for they started young and they did it for, 10 years, whatever, they all end up kind of coming out of it, because they can't stay in it. You just physically can't stay in it, whether it's a physical thing, whether it's a mental thing. Like, outside of Rich Froning, who seems to be pretty much immortal at this point, most people seem to have kind of a shelf life with it. So I wonder whether it is like the body can only handle so much stress, or whether it's just that thing of like trends come and go.
I think it's a combination of all of those things. It was really, and the methodology still holds, right? We still use that kind of style of mixed modality training and measuring things. But you can't keep snatching heavy weights, and you can't keep it takes its toll. I think even Rich Froning he doesn't do as much stuff. His shoulder and knee is blown out.
Yeah, he's got a bad knee. I was reading that he does a lot more kind of like traditional bodybuilding stuff.
Right.
Like peppers, like most of us, just peppers in the CrossFit.
You just can't continue to do the Metcons, and that, especially now, being in menopause, right? And all this research that has come out about what is actually beneficial for women at this stage in life, like continuously being in that state of elevated cortisol and that type of stress, it's like not super beneficial for us. And it's so hard because you get used to it, right? You're like, all those endorphins kick in and you get kind of addicted to that feeling that you get after those intense Metcons. But ultimately you get addicted to chasing exhaustion. Yeah, you do. You totally do.
People don't feel like they've worked out unless they're completely exhausted.
Yeah, right.
And that's the wrong way to think about it.
Right.
I kind of think, and we'll talk a lot about this, but like, for me, the goal is to stay as anabolic as possible for as long as possible.
Right.
When we talk about longevity, that's kind of what we mean. Like, I just want to feel like I'm strong, feel like I'm anabolic, feel like I've got an energy to do things.
You're building, not like catabolic, right? You're not breaking down.
You're not breaking yourself down.
Right.
Now, that's not to say, like, obviously, if I want to grow, I have to push myself and test myself and create stress in my body that I then adapt to. But obviously, there's a point where too much stress is too much.
Right. You want some stress, so you adapt, but you don't want so much stress that you're constantly breaking down and it's affecting you in a negative way.
Yeah, and you can't recover from.
Right.
Especially as we get older, it takes a lot longer to recover. And if you're never allowing yourself to recover, of course, you're going to end up in the dumpster at the end, because it's just... Right. The body just doesn't work that way. It just can't handle it.
And unfortunately, we've probably had to learn that the hard way. So.
Yeah, because like you said, it's addictive, But I think, what you've tried to do, what I've tried to do, what Pharos tried to do is take the best of those elements and use them positively to say, there's a time and a place for this stuff. Right. It just can't be all the time. You have to build, you have to, you have to push yourself in one direction, but then you have to allow yourself to recover, and then you have to like reduce the intensity a bit, and not make ultimate stress the ultimate goal,
right?
Which is kind of like what CrossFit was.
Pretty much. It's like if you're competing, it's basically like who can endure the longest, like who can just suck it up and just like just take as much pain as possible. Like that's pretty much.
That is, and I think that was kind of like, that was the problem with Dave Castro, right? Love or hate the guy. Like, one of the problems was it just became a war of attrition. Like, who can survive this? Who can survive this the longest and still be standing at the end?
Right. And how, what mean test can we just keep creating? And I still have friends that are competing, and they still do it. I've just really pulled back from the whole scene, so I'm not like, I have a couple clients that are still competing, one that went to the games this past year, but even she's, it's like at this age, she's like, I just want to hang out with my grandchildren. I don't want to be completely destroyed after this.
Yes. Yeah. And we've talked about this before, but that was the thing for me. Like, the real heyday of CrossFit and the real time when everyone just kind of loved it was when, everyone was just kind of working out for an hour or 90 minutes a day. They were working out with their friends. They were having fun.
Right.
Then you were chilling. You'd go for food. You'd have a couple of beers. When it got too much was when, people were training for 4 or 5 hours a day. It was their whole life, that everything had to be surrounded, everything had to be built around it. But then it wasn't paying them anything. So it's like, this is not a job.
No, it's not.
You're treating it like you're a professional athlete.
Yeah, it's like a full-time job that you don't get paid for.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of unsustainable. And I think if it needs to go back, if it can go back to anything, it needs to go back to those roots of just like, it's just a fun way to work out with your friends and do some cool stuff in the fitness world, and it not be about, again, how much stress can I possibly put under my body in one day.
I mean, I think there are, like my original gym, CrossFit Oakland, they just celebrated their 20th year anniversary, and they are really like a gym for the people. And I see that with Pharos too. It's like with, like I go to the build class at 7 a.m. when I'm there, and it's like has that community feel, like people are getting together after class and going to get coffee or breakfast, and we're going out to dinner together, and I love that. Like that's the best thing about CrossFit, was that community feeling. And I mean, if that can continue and sustain, then that's the best thing, really.
Yes, because that for me, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, but that was the real gift of CrossFit. People forget, but before CrossFit, people would just go to the gym on their own with their headphones on. They were doing their cardio, and then they were doing their weights, and then they might speak to their friends at the gym, but they weren't necessarily like working out together in that way. And of course, there were other classes. There was body pump, and there was all that Les Mills stuff, but it was different. CrossFit really did bring people together, and it taught people how to suffer together. And struggle
part of it, that is the bonding and the suffering.
What it was like to go on a journey like that together. Push ourselves, and then at the end of it, like you said, go for coffee together, have a beer together, have food together, and it just be very, very, very social. It made the gym very social.
Totally.
Which was fun, and which we should still try and pursue.
Absolutely.
It's just the way in which we do it needed to change.
Right. So, I mean, I think pulling or moving forward, like leaving CrossFit kind of, so to speak, and keeping, all of the good of that and continuing to work out, having a place like Pharos to work out and continuing to kind of use that methodology, right? That's the good thing. And learning finally that, okay, we don't have to be killing ourselves all the time, but we can still, we know how to push ourselves. We know that we need to be lifting heavy, right? We know that we need to be getting in that high intensity interval type training. And that's really super beneficial, especially, not just for women, but for men too, right? We need that stimulus to our central nervous system. We do need that, a little bit of that stress. So,
what I've, been saying to the people I meet who are, asking me about fitness is, the data is out there. We need to build muscle. We need to work on strength. We do need VO2 max is still a big indicator of longevity. Yeah. So we do need that high intensity work as well as our lower intensity work for heart health. And it's just piecing it together in a smart way. So again, you can borrow a lot from CrossFit. You can borrow a lot from that methodology and be smart about it and be intelligent with it. But just don't let it crush you. Is kind of
I think one of the best things, for me personally, and I think for women in general, that CrossFit did was it like taught us that it's okay to be strong, right? We kind of got to like break down that like fear of getting bulky and it like made, you know, this like big muscular like woman as an ideal instead of like hope, you know, it's still, I think the skinny thing is still out there too much in our culture, but it did, you know, it taught us, okay, it's okay to lift heavy and it's actually good. And we need to keep doing that.
Right. And, you know, in a very basic sense, it did reintroduce people to the barbell. People were not using barbells at that point.
No.
It reintroduced people to movement again, because again, you know, people were over reliant on machines. They were only using machines, but they weren't using their body as a complete unit.
Yeah.
You know, functional movement is the
right.
word, but you know, that became a word because people weren't doing that before. So it did make people more functional again.
Yeah.
It's we want to keep that, obviously, because again, that's an important thing to focus on as we age, and that, you know, obviously that falls into the mobility category, which mobility is enhanced by, you know, doing mobility work, but also just doing functional movements and using your body.
Picking stuff up and putting it down and taking something from point A to point B, pushing things and pulling things and, you know, putting things over our head and throwing things and all that stuff that you need to be able to do in everyday life. So yeah, I was in perimenopause, like when I started competing. So I didn't really start competing until I was like 45. And I think honestly, you know, lifting heavy and working out and eating really well helped a lot with my symptoms. But I did have symptoms looking back now. And I was also, you know, working full time, commuting, traveling internationally. So I was super stressed and training. So I was having things like brain fog and I thought I was like losing my mind, but I think now I know, oh, that's, you know, one of the symptoms of perimenopause. Yeah. So I think for me that, you know, the working out and the lifting has been super helpful, and I managed to, you know, pretty much make it through the whole transition relatively unscathed, I think, you know. But I was definitely going through all of that. And then, you know, now I'm going to be 59 this month and I'm, you know, through menopause. And so I think it's been a few years at least for me. I think I was pretty late in actually like going through the actual, so, you know, that menopause is defined as 1 year when you don't have your period. So, but yeah, I was going through all of it. Yeah.
And it's funny how it's really become a thing now.
Yes.
But it wasn't really talked about then.
No, it's like in the past few years, it's just like blown up. It's trending. I don't know if it's just that now there's like more women in that age category, or finally, you know, people just start talking about it, or marketers decided, oh, this, you know, every woman is going to go through it. So it's like it happens to over 50% of the population.
And I think maybe, you know, just because CrossFit was so popular with women, you know, and a lot of women were, you know, very interested in performance and, you know, pushing the limits, and maybe that movement kind of highlighted, you know, what happens in perimenopause and menopause, because people suddenly saw like, you know, oh, I'm not able to do the same things, or I've got brain fog, you know, whereas before maybe, you know, I remember my mother going through it way back. But it being a very kind of like not talked about thing, like it wasn't in the press or on the news. And of course, the advent of social media has made it very public, and people like have, you know, openly talked about it, and there's been a lot of books written about it. So it's definitely more in the public consciousness with all these things. But for sure, I do wonder whether, because so many women now are doing fitness and doing strength training and are concerned with overall, you know, wellness, you know, maybe it's become
I don't know. I mean, one of the things is, you know, the algorithm, right? When you start looking at something, then you're getting fed it. So I think, everybody must be like hearing about menopause because I get it all the time. But then I talk to some of my friends who are my age and they're like, no, I don't get any information. So I think it is definitely much more in the public conversation than it was. But there's still a lot of information that isn't shared. Like there's still more that needs to be shared. And I think in the CrossFit community, it's definitely starting to be much more talked about. But one of the, like my mentors is Dr. Stacy Sims. She's, you know, out of Stanford, and she's got a TED Talk, and she does a lot of research on active women, but She didn't come from the CrossFit world, but she has more recently linked up with, she does a program now with the daughters, Katrin and Annie Thor's daughter. She created this like strength program called Empowered by Daughters. And so she's connected with them. But so she found the CrossFit community, but she didn't come from that. So I guess my point is that like it's taken a little longer to actually reach the CrossFit community. There's another woman, Celine Yeager. She has does a bunch of research with Feisty Menopause. I was on her podcast. And again, this is like the endurance community. So it's didn't come from the CrossFit community. I was like the first CrossFit athlete that she actually interviewed. She was like, but now there's a lot more CrossFit people in this conversation. So I think, every year it's getting more talked about and more common. Again, because we're all getting to be that age. It's happening. It's like, this is what's happening to us.
I think, driven people like yourself want to feel and be their best. And when you feel like you're not able to do that, you want to figure it out, which is why you seek out the information that you need. Whereas I think that, honestly, I think a lot of in the previous generation, they were just told to like, this is just the way it is.
Just suck it up. I mean, I remember going to my doctor, when I was like 45 and I was having problems sleeping and I was having night sweats. And she's like, oh yeah, you're probably in perimenopause. This is just what happens. You might start to gain weight. Average weight gain is about 8 pounds. I mean, luckily that didn't happen to me because probably I was training so much and eating really well. Yeah. But for me personally, I did a lot of research. I did, also because I'm a coach, right? And I help people. So I need to feel informed, but I started reading everything I could find and, taking courses and really trying to get educated. And I had a complete like mind shift about hormone therapy and about what is really, beneficial for us because, there had been this study that came out in the late 80s that was a flawed study. And it, basically scared us all about hormone therapy. And since then, there's been new research and it's now proven that, it can be safe for most women. It can be beneficial. Again, it's something you have to like do your own research, talk to your own healthcare provider. Yeah.
But that study, was that to do with cancer or to do with heart issues or both?
You mean the side effects or?
The study you mentioned, the flawed study.
Yeah, it was that estrogen contributed to cancer. So it doesn't, in fact, unless you happen to be at a certain, risk personally, but in general, it doesn't necessarily. Right. Again, there's, you need to be careful about the type that you take, like transdermal is more beneficial.
Quantity.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same for men as well. Like it's like the whole testosterone thing. It's like, taking in safe amounts, keeping within a reasonable range, that kind of thing can be very healthy for men.
Right.
Taking extreme amounts.
Yeah. And also like for women, I, as a competitive CrossFit athlete, right, I was always super careful because you get drug tested and you can't, hormone therapy is like on the list of banned substances, but the amount that you're taking as MHT menopause hormone therapy compared to if you're like trying to compete in sport, it's like, I had my blood work done and my testosterone was like at a 3 and like a healthy range is like in the 50s for women. So my doctor was like, let's just try to get you up to like 14. So, I mean, it's like, and to compete in sport, it would be like way more. So it's, it's very different amounts that we're talking about. But again, that's not like a magic pill. You still have to lift heavy. You still have to build your muscle. You still have to eat, right? Like, I think people are still trying to look for a quick fix, but
trust me, I know a lot of guys who've taken all of the drugs and still look like shit because they don't do the work. Because it isn't a magic pill. Like,
no,
it's always the classic thing. Oh, he looks great, but he's probably just taking steroids. It's like, he may be, but still takes a hell of a lot of work. Like, it ain't going to do the work for you.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, I think it just, there's no magic pill, and it comes back to, the being consistent and focusing on your nutrition and your, fitness, your strength training, your mindset, your connection to your community, your relationships, all being out in nature, all of those things.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. When you finished CrossFit, you started surfing, and then at what point did you start the hormone therapy after that?
So I've been on it now for like 10 months. So it was like February of this
only 10
year.
months.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's been pretty recent.
And was it a drastic shift? Like, or was it
No, I mean, people are like, oh my God, you're going to, it's going to change your life. You're going to get your life back. I was like, first of all, it wasn't like I wasn't feeling horrible before.
Right.
I was having some, especially the sleep was my main thing, and like anxiety and like mood stuff. I started with estradiol cream for vaginal atrophy, which is a lovely term.
Yeah.
But it's a thing that happens. I mean, basically what happens is your body starts to produce way less estrogen, and estrogen is an anabolic hormone. It's what builds everything. It keeps you plumped up, it keeps you moisturized. It keeps your skin like soft and juicy. And so when that starts to decline, literally everything just starts to dry up, including your vagina, your muscles. And that can lead to urinary tract infections and really painful sex. And so that one thing, that cream, I think even if you don't take hormone replacement therapy, I think like all women going through menopause should definitely try that. That's like a game changer. Right. Yeah. And so that was the first thing. And then I started a little bit of progesterone and estrogen. And then, it takes a few months to get used to it, to dial in the right amounts. And then after a few months, I started testosterone. And again, I had my blood tested. The thing about getting your blood tested for the hormones when you're going through perimenopause is there's such a fluctuation in your hormone levels that you can't really get an accurate test, because it's changing literally day by day. So you really are being dosed based on your symptoms. So I recommend for everyone going through perimenopause to keep track of your symptoms. I have a free guide that I've made that is just like a symptom tracker of the most popular symptoms that women have. So really start to keep track of that, because that will allow you to have an informed conversation when you are talking to your provider about what's going on. So anyway, I started that, and then I started, with a tiny bit of testosterone, and it's, testosterone is not approved by the FDA for women. So we are using off-label testosterone made for men. So the dosing is like, literally, I was told to take a pea-sized amount and rub it behind my leg. Like, it's so arbitrary.
Oh, it's the cream. Yeah.
It's a gel. Yeah. I mean, there's some people you can get like a shot with it. I just don't like needles. There's different forms. So, and then I went from a pea size to a pea and a half. And then I went from a pea and a half to a blueberry. So that's the amount that it's like 1 milligram, I think now. And again, it's like, I haven't noticed a huge difference, but I feel pretty good. Sleeping way better. I basically feel pretty good. So
is everything you use a cream then? You don't like needles?
Progesterone, I don't like needles. Progesterone is like a little pill that I actually insert like a suppository, because I was having some GI issues when I took it like a pill through my digestive system. And then it's a gel. The estrogen is a gel, and it's estradiol actually, and then the testosterone. Some people do the patch with the estrogen, but because of surfing, I don't know, it just seems like it would be irritating to me.
Logistically difficult. I think that's what people know as well. If you are listening and you do hate needles, there are ways around it. There are methods.
I would say that, there's the pellets that a lot of doctors use. And I mean, again, talk to your doctor, but the thing about the pellets is that it's literally like a pellet that they inject in you, and you get it every 3 months. So you really can't adjust the dosage once it's in there.
Right.
And you don't actually, they're not regulated. Like, you don't actually know exactly how much is in there. So I think transdermal is the kind of the gold standard. That's what I would recommend. But
I've known people who've taken the pellets, and
it's easier, right? But
easier, but
I don't know.
Like you said,
easier is not always better.
Yeah, exactly. You can't alter the dose.
And again, you don't have to do hormone therapy. Like, it's like, my mom went through it okay. Like, people are fine without it. Like, it's okay to not. I think now it's like really popular.
Yes,
it's like the trending thing.
Again, I just go back to, it depends how you want to live your life. Like, you want to live your life optimally. You want to do all these things. You want to be productive. You're always on the go. You're very physical. Like, if you want to live that kind of life, then you might have to, you know?
Yeah. And there's cardiovascular benefits, right? There may be
Yeah.
cognitive benefits. It
Yeah.
may help protect your joints and bones. So it's not just the external symptoms, it's like internal too. So, you know, I'm hoping, I mean, if there's not a lot of research that it does protect cognitive decline, but if it does, great. Like, even if it's a little bit, right?
Yeah. Have you, what other stuff have you been doing? Because I know, you know, you've been doing the ice baths for a long time, but you told me you kind of changed your protocol a little bit.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about that. Because I know Stacey seems kind of big on the ice bath.
She was big on it, and she's done research that women, we don't actually need to be going into the freezing ice, thank God, because I was doing that for a while. So we have a different shivering point, basically because we don't have as much insulation in general, right? If you have more insulation on your body, more fat, then you can withstand cold better. But like around 50 degrees is sufficient to get the response that is still beneficial for women. So it's still super beneficial because it induces the hormone response of the, you know, the feel-good hormones, the catecholamines, the serotonin, and the, oxytocin, and what's the other one? There's like 3 hormones that are released. And it also triggers the brown fat, right? The white fat that turns to brown fat that's more metabolically active. It makes your, you know, it's just so good, right? All the anti-inflammatory things. So it is still super beneficial, but the heat is even more beneficial for women. So the sauna is, if you're going to do one thing, I would say do sauna. If you can do both, do the contrast therapy. So,
and how frequently are you doing that?
I mean, right now,
optimally, if you were to say to someone like,
once a week would be great. Once or twice a week would be even better, probably. It depends, right? Again, on your training, and your time. If I can do contrast therapy once a week, that's amazing. If I had it, like we have the cold plunge here. So I have access that I don't have access to a sauna as often. I would go in the sauna probably a few times a week if I could.
Yeah. It's never a bad time to go in the sauna.
No, it's always good. Yeah. Anytime you can get that heat. Yeah. So I do that. I mean, I'm still, a big proponent of all of the lifestyle things, and I don't do as many of like the natural supplements as I was before the hormone therapy. Like I was doing ashwagandha, which is an adaptogen. I was doing CBD for anti-inflammatory. I still do CBD sometimes to help with inflammation and sleep. Right. That's the non-psychoactive cannabis plant. Yeah. It's not THC.
No THC. Yeah.
I still, you know, I take fish oil. I take creatine.
Yeah, that's another one. Creatine. You know, especially for women.
Yes, for your brain health.
Traditionally wasn't really a thing, but has become a huge thing.
So much research. There's really no downsides. Cognitive health. Yeah, muscular repair and building. Yeah. And protein, right? Protein is like the number one thing. Yeah. Protein is trending, I think.
Pretty much.
Finally.
What about, are you taking magnesium at night?
Yeah, I take magnesium at night. Yeah. There's so many kinds of magnesium, right? I think threonate and citrate.
Glycinate is the one that's
glycinate, right?
Tell me the most.
Or glycinate, yeah.
I take. I told you this before, but I take the magnesium glycinate. I take it inositol. I'll take GABA.
Oh, okay.
That helps me just kind of like wind down.
Yeah.
And then L-theanine is the other one that really.
Right. That's a really good for chilling out. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially, you know, I think if you do live a very active life and also a very stressful kind of like you're always on the go kind of stuff, one of your biggest kind of enemies is just being able to like shut off and wind down because you're just so wired all the time. So wired. And, you know, I drink a lot of caffeine as well, which is more than I should. So finding a way to try to like calm your nervous system and just be able to just like sit still and exist is kind of like
that is for sure. You where you're stage you're at in your life, you've got, you know, all these businesses, you've got 2 young kids. I mean, you're going from, you know, multiple. Okay, I don't know how you guys are doing it. I mean, and for women, right, going through the menopause transition, being able to chill is so important because it's like that racing thought, that anxiety where you're just like addicted to that. You're used to it. You're used to being on that treadmill of go, go, go. So trying to like find the time to chill and wind down. It's like, you have your when your kids are little, you have like a nighttime routine, right? You're like putting them in the bath, you're putting in their jammies, reading them a story. Like we need to do that as grownups too. Like what is your nightly wind down routine? Like dimming the lights, turning off your screens.
We've been struggling with because really I like to be in bed by 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
but
me
lately
too.
it's been so hard getting the kids down.
Mm-hmm.
It might be 8:45 before they're down, and then me and Emily need time to wind down.
Yeah, right.
It's not like you can just like get your kids to bed and then just be able to fall asleep. It's like once the kids get to bed, you've got to allow yourself a little bit of time to decompress.
Definitely, yeah.
And then of course it's like 9:30, and like maybe it's 10, and then it's like it's too late.
It's too late. I know.
My best days, honestly, are like a 4 a.m. get up.
Right.
I feel way more productive when I do that. Like if I get up at 4 and I work out and I'm kind of like done with my workout stuff by 6, and then I've got like the whole day because, but by the time my kids finish school, I mean, I'll pick up Wyatt for BJJ at 3:10 on a school day. Tonight we've got soccer at 3:45.
Yeah, you're in it.
By the time that happens, you're not getting much work done after that.
No.
So all your productivity really has to take place before that.
Yeah.
And if you want to work out, you just run out of
time. You gotta be early. Yeah. I mean, I'm in a different life stage, right? My kids are older now. That's funny. The older one she was just living with us again. And now she just moved out again. So I'm like, it's like empty nest for the third time. Right. But I love the dawn patrol surf, right? Which is literally you're getting up and you're getting to the water when the sun is coming up because it's the least crowded, the least amount of wind. It's usually like the best conditions. So I got to get to bed. I got to be in bed by 9 or I'm not getting up at 4:30 or 5.
What time do you get up to surf? Like 4:30?
My alarm usually goes off at 5. So it depends. I mean, if I'm going like to a farther drive, like down to Sano, and it's like you have to get in line, to get a good spot to park, then it's sometimes you're getting up in the 4s. But I don't like to have to get up in the 4s. So.
Is it how long are you spending in the water when you go surfing?
Like an hour to an hour and a half. I mean, sometimes longer if it's really good and you're not freezing. Right. The water is just starting to get a little bit colder right now, but it's still pretty warm. But I mean, today I was like, the waves were not that great. We were like out for like an hour. If it's good, like an hour and a half.
Did you see a lot of women out there? A lot of women?
Yeah. So the cool thing is that when I got back, I started surfing again. It's going to be just 2 years now. I joined this international surf club called the Wahine Kai. And I met all these women like my age, most of them or older even, who it's an international club. So I have like made these amazing friends and they're like really good surfers. They've been surfing for, their whole life. So they're way better than me, but it's just been really great. So there's always someone to surf with and it's very inclusive. And it's that whole social thing where, getting together for happy hours and bonfires and camping. And it's been really great because I'm kind of new to Southern California too. So I didn't know anyone here and new to surfing. So it's just been so great. I can't even.
Is it like Point Break?
It's like Point Break. I mean, the surfing thing is, it's an intense culture. It's so big here, right? I mean, I'm in like Huntington Beach, it's like Surf City, right? It's super, we call it bro soup. It's all the dudes out there. And so it's great when all the ladies show up and we can dominate.
Yeah,
it's good.
That is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and then it's the same community thing we were talking about earlier. You're back to the community aspect of, CrossFit. You guys,
it's a culture.
Certainly kind of an individual pursuit, but when you're doing it, within a group, it must be.
It's social, and there's a whole, etiquette in the lineup, and there's rules of, there's a lot. It's deep, and it's very entrenched here. And and it's competitive, super competitive. I mean, there is a competitive. You can compete, right? There's that, and it's also competitive in just getting the wave. So being in shape was, it was great. All the stuff all the burpees I did. They translated really well. So I had an advantage, starting this very demanding sport at a relatively late point in life. But I'm still a total beginner. Like I can do it, but it's
fun to be a beginner though. I'm doing a similar thing with horse riding.
Oh,
right
I know. I love that. My
my coach is does reining, specifically she does cow reining. So she's trying to like teach me how to do that. Like, and maybe I do it at some point, maybe I don't, but I'm training as if I am.
Right.
And it's a whole new discipline. Like, obviously I've been riding for a while, but this is just a different
Had
thing.
you ridden before you moved to Idlewild? Like, do you have a background in that, or is that
No, not at all. Like, it was always kind of a dream of mine. Like, I grew up obviously like watching a lot of Westerns and loving that side of Western culture. And then over the years, like I've been on various like holidays where I've been riding, but it's never been a constant. It's never been a consistent in my life. And then when I moved to Idlewild, you know, I found a little community and I've been consistent with it most weeks. But a lot of it was like, you know, basic arena work and then trail riding. And then just this last year, you know, I just wanted to get better at it. Like, so it was like, found a coach. Like I said, it's a lot of
gotta
footwork,
get a coach.
yeah. Gotta get a coach. And my coach is like 21 years old, amazing. Like, you know, she's just been on a horse since she's a kid and works with some of the, you know, the best people in the world.
That's
and,
so cool.
you know, a lot of it's funny because, you know, we spend our time in the gym always trying to be in a healthy position. You know, I'm thinking about posture.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Back. She's like, you got to forget that. Like, you got to be like this. Like, you
relaxed, right? Yeah, that's interesting.
The style of riding that we're doing, you've got to create a C shape. So you got to kind of like over position like this. So it's like creating the worst possible position for your
so
back
you're riding Western. I grew up riding horses too. Yeah. And I did like dressage and I mean I did trail riding too, but yeah, it was very like proper. Like
yeah, no, this is not proper. This is Western. So this is this is trying to find myself, trying to teach myself to be in these kind of like anatomically poor positions to ride better. And it's, you know, it's a real challenge. And also,
that's so great though.
You know, a lot of it is like, I got to create more external rotation with my hips so that I can just use my calves and my feet, create tension on the horse, as opposed to my natural instinct is obviously to like do adduction and like squeeze the horse with my thighs.
Oh no.
That's not what you want. What you want is you've got to try and come up from underneath the horse and use your spurs underneath the belly of the horse, which means external rotation of the hips and then tension through the feet and calves. And it's really hard for me to like untrain my body, you know, to get out of position and resist, you know, and also just the thing of like tension. Like I'm just so used to bracing and tension and like
you got to be relaxed.
Now I've got to try and like,
you know, it's the same thing with surfing. Like being super bulky and having a lot of muscles doesn't necessarily help in surf. I mean, you have to be strong and it's definitely an endurance sport, but you got to be really flexible and really fast. And like your hips have to be open. And so I work so much. I mean, I've always been into yoga and mobility, but now it's like a lot
now
of
you have a
mobility and
that's the thing for me. That's what I was saying. It's like sometimes you need something new to give yourself that reason again. Like I need to work on my external rotation of my hips. Otherwise it's just not going to work out for me. Like I'm not going to get better at this unless I can do that, because that's kind of my limiting factor right now. And that, and just the overall tension in my body and just trying to like just relax.
Right. Trying to relax. Yeah. That's really good.
Yeah. And my coach was saying to me this week, you know, you've almost like got to separate the parts of your body. You're like, just because you have tension in your calves doesn't mean you should have tension up here. This isn't a back squat, you know what I mean?
Yes, right. You don't have to have global tension, like you're not doing a gymnastics.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's totally contrary. And you're communicating with the horse, right? Like you got to be really aware.
Well, that's the thing. The horse is responding to your tension.
Totally.
So,
yeah.
You know, everything you're doing, you're trying to communicate with your own body, but you're also trying to communicate with another entity that you're riding on, who's a lot bigger than you, a lot heavier than you.
I got a coach for surfing. And he's similar. He's like, you gotta just stay relaxed, you know, like don't be so tense all the time. I'm like tense, you know, ready to go.
It's all I've ever known. So it's
right. Yeah.
It's hard to get rid of.
But I think you're right. Like having something that you're excited for outside of the gym, you know, that is giving you, like now, you know, I'm doing my little boring shoulder prehab and rehab because like I want to keep my shoulders healthy, not just because after the games, I was supposed to have surgery on my shoulder that I decided not to do. And I did physical therapy, and my doctor was like, basically told me I could never lift anything over my head again, which of course I didn't listen to.
Right.
I'm lifting. I mean, I'm not like snatching crazy weight, but, I'm not.
Did you ever think about stem cells?
I have, yeah. And I want to research it more. Again, if I had an extra 10 grand or whatever, I would go down to Mexico and do it. And now like peptides are like the in thing, which I don't, it's like, some people say they're great and they work, and some people, I don't know. There's not a lot of research.
I took the BPC 157.
Oh, you did? Okay. Did you inject it or?
Yeah, I took the Wolverine stack for a shoulder thing. I took it for a month. It was great. It worked.
Huh. Okay.
Then, it's always the thing with me is like, because I'll throw the kitchen sink at everything. Like if I have a problem, like I'm taking everything and I'm doing everything.
Yeah.
So I did this back. I hooked up with a physical therapist. She gave me a bunch of exercises.
So was it the BP or did you do the other one too? The TB?
I did both.
Okay.
The BPC 157 and the TB 500. It's called the Wolverine stack.
Oh, okay.
And and it worked. So again, maybe it was the physical therapy. Maybe it was it's hard to say, but whatever.
Worked. Okay. Good to know. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think there's definitely something in that. And like, I've spoken to a lot of people who have sworn by it.
So I think rest really made a difference.
Yeah. I think it depends on the extent of the injury, obviously.
Right.
If you got my problem was fairly minor. It's not going to, if your muscle's completely ripped off the bone, it's not going to like.
Well, and what you like, if I wanted to continue competing in CrossFit and continue training the Olympic lifts and doing all the gymnastic stuff, I probably should have gotten the surgery. But I decided to just not do that stuff and.
Well, that's the same thing. I think I told you before. I have a severed ligament in my wrist.
Ooh.
And this happened like early on, like 2016. And I went to the doctor and said, like, look, you got no ligament there. Like it's completely severed.
Mm-hmm.
You can come in, you can have a surgery. It might work, it might not. Maybe I think it was like 60, there's a 60% chance it'll work. But I can tell you'll be out for 6 months and then you'll have to try and like rehab it.
Yeah.
It depends. Like if you're a professional athlete and you're going to try and win the CrossFit Games, like you're going to have to get this repaired.
And your livelihood depends on it, maybe.
Yeah. If you can live with the fact that you're always going to have a little bit of pain there, you're probably going to get some arthritis there when you're older.
Yeah.
And you're never going to be like 100%, then I just live with it and just deal with it.
That's kind of how I feel. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I'm not, I'm not trying to like lift as much weight as I possibly can anymore. Like that's not my goal, right? It's different.
Exactly. Yeah. And no one's getting out of this thing alive anyway. Like no one's getting out scot-free.
Exactly.
How many days a week are you strength training on average?
So, I mean, I try to follow the build program, even though I'm not at Pharos all the time because I love it. So I'm trying to get my primary lifts in. So I'm trying to lift 3 or 4 days a week.
Great.
And then, I surf probably 5 to 6 days a week. So sometimes I will surf, and like today I surf this morning. I'm going to try to go lift today. And then I try to get in like a couple, I do a few conditioning workouts. I mean, I still work out a lot.
Yeah,
but...
you're very consistent still. Yeah,
yeah.
That's good.
I have a garage. I mean, I set up in my garage. I don't like belong to another gym outside of Pharos, which I kind of miss. I miss the people.
I think the problem with a lot of people is it's kind of like all or nothing. They're either all in on fitness or they're doing nothing. Whereas like, I'm always trying to explain to people like, and I think this is the problem in American culture in general. People are either all in for one thing and they're all in for another thing, and this is really good and this is really bad, and they just swing from like one side to the other. Whereas honestly, the answer is always in the middle. It's like you're still doing a lot of work. It's not like you're not working out consistently and hard. You're just doing it in a different way,
and sometimes
in a more intelligent way.
Sometimes it's I just go out to my garage and I just move some weights around for 20 minutes, or just do like an EMOM. It doesn't have to be like a big long thing. Or I go to Pilates mat class with my daughter and get my butt kicked, so, or I go to a yoga class. Like it doesn't, I'm not following a program. I call it like, there's like intuitive eating. I call it intuitive fitness. I'm like doing what my body needs. But I am trying to get heavy lifting in, my primary lifts.
And it's not like every workout doesn't have to be like you're waging war, No. It's fine to just go in and, like you said, just move, just lift, just kind of like feel good.
Right. It is a little sad. Sometimes I think about all that time I spent, trying to learn how to walk on my hands.
Yeah.
I'm not really practicing those things all the time anymore, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's I'll still do that every now and again. Then I realize how bad and I've got at it, and it's like, it is like you said, it's hard to like learn a skill and then the body kind of forgets it.
Right. But you're learning another thing, right? You're horseback riding. Like that's one of the, and surfing, it's like a whole new skill, and it's great.
Yeah.
Like it's.
And the reality is, like, when in my life is like walking on my hands going to be like
a cool party trick, or
it's a cool party trick, yeah. But it's not going to save me from anything. But yeah, and like I said, I do, I do, and I don't want to kind of like bash CrossFit in any way, or because obviously a lot of our members still do it, and we still have the what we call it hybrid now,
right?
It's essentially a CrossFit program, and a lot of people still love it and are very fond of it. And like I said, I'll dive into it whenever I can.
Yeah,
I do find it very hard to motivate myself for that kind of a workout unless I'm in a class, like unless I'm in a group.
Right.
It's very hard on my own. Like, especially if it's like early in the morning, the thought of doing like waking up at 5 a.m. and doing Fran is like not happening.
Not happening. Yeah, you got it's definitely much better in a class environment. I know. I mean, I have all the love for CrossFit. I mean, it changed my life in the best way. I mean, I have so much to be thankful for CrossFit. It's just, it's I've evolved. I'm the world's different. I'm different. And we can take the good from it and keep going.
Do you think just where it's at right now? Do you think it's savable, CrossFit, as a business entity? I mean,
somebody's going to need to like buy it, put some new blood in it. I don't know. I mean, I'm so like disconnected from the whole thing. Like, I didn't even go to Wadapalooza, which was like kind of sad because it was right here in my backyard. I think it's gonna have to get some new blood. I mean, they've interestingly, they kind of did this new ad campaign recently, which was really going back to the roots and like owning the fact that it's like tough and hard and that's good and kind of raw and gritty. So maybe that's what they need to do. It's gonna need something. I mean, and then we could talk about high rocks, right? Like that's the new trendy thing, and a lot of people love that because it's not as much skill. It's
not as much load,
low barrier to entry. To me, it's too much running, but
it's a lot of running. Yeah, and again, that will have its day. I mean, I think high rocks has probably got a really good kind of like 3 years in it.
Maybe,
like going to be really popular for 3 years,
right?
And then it's going to be kind of like, okay, but what next? Because it's just it's just a workout. There's just one thing that you'll do.
Yeah, it's boring.
I'm doing one in Dallas.
Bored. Oh, you're doing
doing one in Dallas. Yeah, in November. I'm doing the partner one with Eric from Redondo.
Oh, cool.
But really, I'm just doing it for fun, and like I'm not
good. Yeah.
Not that I'm not taking it. I'm not taking it that seriously. It was funny. I just did that hike on the Cactus to Clouds thing on
that looked
Friday,
great. Right?
Which kind of ruined me. And now I'm like, I got to try and motivate myself to do these like endurance high rocks type workouts because that's in November. So I've only got a month to prepare for it, really.
It'll be fun. You'll do great.
So my expectations are not overwhelmingly high.
Yeah.
I mean, I have been running up into the hike, but I haven't been doing like high intensity kind of Metcon.
Get Coach Evil to kick your ass. Get you in running shape.
The best solution for me is to go to class.
Right.
But with my schedule right now, it's really hard to like find out when that can be.
Yeah. I bet.
But I gotta figure it out because again, I do really struggle on my own to like do those kinds of workouts anymore.
Yeah. You got to put it in your calendar like it's a doctor's appointment. I don't know.
It's the only way.
Yeah. People, I'm always trying to get recruited by people to do high rocks and I just can't. It's just too much running. I can't.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of running. Yeah. But like you said, you hit the nail on the head. It's a low barrier to entry.
Right.
It's pretty easy to pick up. It's pretty easy to learn. It's skier, rowing, burpees, sled pulling.
Yeah.
There's nothing in there that's going to be like difficult to learn.
No, it's not.
Hard. Like it's long. You're working out for over an hour nonstop.
Yeah, it's a lot of endurance.
there's a lot of endurance. That's hard for a lot of people.
Right.
But
No, people
you
love
know,
it.
when you watch, you know, what's happening on social media and Instagram and YouTube, and like a lot of people are just going in that direction. And it's syncing up with run clubs, obviously. Which
Run clubs are super popular. And
everywhere.
pickleball. I mean, pickleball is like,
Yeah. So yeah, there's always, it's funny, like when you look at the industry, it's always works in cycles. Like things come and go. Like running comes in, running goes out, something else comes in, something else goes out. It's, you know, that's just the nature of the industry.
It's always something.
We've got to try and drive revenue somehow. So we need to make some new products. What should we make popular? This is going to be popular again. Okay, let's do that.
But I think the community thing, like having that's hard to make work. And if you can make it work, that's a differentiator, and that's going to like keep people coming back, because that's super powerful.
Yeah, we always go back to, it's all about relationships. And, you know, me and Emylee right now are going through a thing of like, I want to start coaching more at all of the facilities. And the only way to do that is to get dates in the diary and to be like, I'm coaching here on this day, coaching here on this day, like, and thinking like months ahead.
Right.
Like make it a thing.
Yeah.
And make it almost like a workshop kind of thing.
Advertise it, let people know that you're going to be there.
Let people know, like, because it's interesting, you know, when you open a gym and you're the kind of like heart and soul of it in the beginning, and you're teaching all the classes, and people and the coaches that are working with you at that time know what the expectation is and see it happening in real time. And then the longer you're away from it, the more you lose that original thing of what it was.
Like, it's probably like running a restaurant. I was just thinking though, like when last time we talked 4 years ago, like you hadn't even, I think you guys had just moved to Idlewild, right? So you didn't even have the Idlewild gym. You didn't have Redondo.
No, we were still, I've got photos of it.
I mean, did you even like at that point, could you have like imagined like all that you built now? Like, it's so cool. I mean, as in, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we're, you know, it's funny because people are like impressed or whatever about what we've built. But at this point for us, like we are so like in it, just like financially trying to make it like work. It doesn't feel like a success yet. It just feels like we're still trying to like just make it work.
Keep your head above water. Yeah.
Yeah, just keep your heads above water and keep the train on the tracks kind of thing. And the biggest lesson for us, we talked about this a lot recently, is just like it's all about teams. It's all about people. Like the only way this works, like broadly across like multiple locations, is just finding really good people in the right position.
It seems like you've done that. I mean, I haven't been, well, I've been to Idlewild, but I haven't been to your other locations. But I mean, the team that you've put together in Palm Springs. Yeah, we've found some good people, and then it's constantly like reinvesting in those people and making sure those people are like staying on it, and like standards are maintained, right?
And also like, you know, it's a really hard thing over time, just with the maintenance of the buildings and the gyms. Like you think like when we built Echo Park, it's like we've done it, we built it, but it's like we've got to constantly reinvest.
Just the cleaning and I mean,
fix, and it just never stops.
I have a 1,200 square foot condo in Palm Springs, and it's like constant. I can't even. How many square feet do you guys have? Like 10,000.
27,000. Oh geez, yeah. 22,000 in Echo Park, and each one has, you know, there's always problems.
Always.
You know, and it's hard because you're always trying to keep up with it, and you're always trying to do your best with it, and you're always trying to manage, you know, the expectations of the community.
Oh, and then you have people like me who are like super critical.
Like, no, but it's like you know, people are paying a premium price, and like this doesn't work, or that was like a mess, or I noticed that this water fountain wasn't working, or this toilet was blocked, or you know, it's this constant thing of like, you know,
and like, and you're like, wait, I just want to be coaching.
Yeah,
exactly. Fixing toilets.
Yeah, so you're constantly, you feel like you're constantly playing catch up,
right?
But again, that just comes down to like management and teams,
delegating.
And,
yeah, I'm sure.
You know, and it's so we need just a lot more team building in the months and years to come. To keep the trend, because it's the only way it grows. It's the only way it sustains.
For sure.
Like I said, the bigger the thing gets, the less opportunity and time you have to spend in each specific location.
Yeah,
and with the people that you kind of grew with. So you have to find, you have to almost like pass that baton on.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
create new leaders, and new icons
Yeah.
in the gym, because you ain't going to be it. And also, I'm getting older. I'm no spring chicken myself, so
Yeah, that's what happens.
that's I always just go back to, it's always people. It's always about people and relationships and creating good times and that energy, and people having fun in the gym,
Right.
and that. I always try and say to coaches, like, you are the custodian of that experience. Like,
Yeah, and I mean that's like CrossFit. It's the best hour of your day. Like it is. It's the best hour of your day. You go there and you leave feeling so much better.
Yeah,
And then you
as
want
a
to come
coach, it's
back.
like, you're part technical, you're part entertainer, you're part friend,
Right.
you're part coach. Like, you have to be all these things at the same time, and it's a real skill set.
It is. It is. Yes,
it is a real skill set. Like I said, a lot of people, like, it's very hard to do well. And I know a lot of trainers that have been really good personal trainers. They step into the group environment.
Running a group class is a whole nother thing. Just keeping people, the time management, it's like, and you have people coming in who have never touched, they don't even know what a barbell is, or a dump, like they don't know what a kettlebell is, right? And then you've got me, right? Like it's like trying to manage.
Yeah, you got to wrangle everyone in. And it's, again, I'll credit CrossFit to that. Like, CrossFit changed the game in that regard. Like, how to teach a class of 20 people.
Yeah.
It's a real skill set. And by the way, how to coach a class of 20 people with complex movements.
Yeah.
Like that.
How do you break it down? Right.
It's a real hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Before we finish, anything else that you want to add about, that you feel may be helpful to any women out there who are going through premenopause, menopause?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say, it has gotten really popular. There's a lot of information out there, but do your research. There's so many good books out there. Go to my website. I mean, I do have a free guide, the Menopause Blueprint. And
how can people get that?
It's lekafineman.com.
Okay.
Or I'm on Instagram at Leka Fineman. But yeah, focusing on the basics, right? Your nutrition, your protein and strength training and the mindset stuff, like trying to find ways to relax and chill, and get off that hamster wheel.
In the guide, is there stuff about food and supplements?
So it's like the 5 pillars that I kind of leaned on, that I focused on. So it's nutrition, mindset, training, like the best types of training, and then recovery, stress management. So and then there's the symptom checklist, and then there's a guide to how to have a productive conversation with your provider, and there's kind of a section about HRT. So it's some valuable information. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
It's great to chat. Absolutely.
Always love seeing you at the gym. It's always a real treat for me when you're there.
Yeah, I know. I wish I was. I'm in Orange County mostly, but I will be back.
Yeah.
Periodically.
Maybe we'll get to work out together soon, and we can.
That'd be fun. Yeah. Well, when you are in all your different locations, let us know. So.
Yeah, we'll do. All right, Leka, you take care.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Yeah. Leka's awesome. Obviously, lekafineman.com is where you're going to find that blueprint, that hormonal blueprint. So check that out. On Instagram at Leka Fineman. Obviously, come see us at the gym. We're in Palm Springs, we're in Echo Park, we're in Idlewild, and we're in Redondo Beach. Love to see you at all these gyms. All gyms are available for you to just come check out, take a tour, meet the team. All super friendly staff. We've also got our new fuel bar open at the Palm Springs location. So come for a coffee, come for a shake. Delicious stuff going on there. So come check that out. And hopefully I'll see you in the gym soon. And until next time, take care. Thanks, guys.